So I'm trying to figure out. I'm trying
Here we go.
Hey guys.
What's going on? Are we up? Are we live?
Yeah, we're live.
Awesome. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Leadership Council. How's everyone doing today? Hope you guys are excited. We've been talking and chatting it up a bit. I know Eric disappeared. He might have. But nonetheless, we have two special guests on the Leadership Council today, and I just kind of want to introduce everyone. I want to get this started. There's a lot of stuff that I know that people want to talk about and share today because we have two pretty awesome marketers sharing this with us today. So I'm going to kind of, on my panel, I'm just going to start. I'm going to introduce our guests, and then I'm going to introduce the council. So first and foremost, we have all the way to my left is Diane Hochman, and Diane Hochman is a legend in this industry. I've known about her since the first day I heard about it, and it's just awesome to meet you, to get to talk to you, and just to hear you out today. So welcome to the Leadership Council.
Thanks for having me, Vinny, and everybody. It's good to be here.
Awesome. So Diane's going to share a bunch of information with us today, and along with her is we have Terry Lamb. And Terry, if you want to say what's up, say hello real quick.
Welcome, everyone.
There he is. And Terry Lamb is an awesome marketer as well. He's the highest earning MITS member, actually, from last year. And he kicked butt as an affiliate marketer for MITS, and he kicks butt with his business just like Diane. So they're going to share today just a little bit about their business, about the industry, some pointers. And this council and this leadership hangout today is really just to pick their brains apart and hopefully pick up some golden nuggets on the way. So now just for the council, we have Lisa Fremont here. What's up, Lisa? How you doing?
Hi, I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing well. Lisa's awesome. She's been on our leadership council, and she as well is an awesome marketer, and she does very well with MITS. And it's good to see you, Lisa. Awesome to have you. So
you too.
Lisa, and then we got Shelly. Shelly's next. What's up, Shelly? How you doing?
Hey guys. I'm good. How are you?
Good. How's the weather over there in New Zealand?
It's still summer here. Just holding on to it as long as possible.
I'm big into the weather because with all the people I'm talking to, the East Coast is just getting nailed in the United States. So it's always good to hear. It's sunny and bright out here in Southern California, and I always know when it's shining here. It's usually shining where Shelly's at too. Terry's shaking his head. Cool. So
me too.
Yeah. So we got Shelly. So thanks for being here, Shelly. I appreciate you taking the time. Eric, you're next. It looks like you're back.
I am.
What's up, man?
Little technology kicking in again. That's once a hangout, man.
So Eric, he's on the Leadership Council, and he works closely with Leadership Council. He's I would say, the unbeknownst leader of the Leadership Council. So if you want to introduce yourself, Eric, and keep it going, go for it, man.
Yep, sounds good. How you guys doing, ladies and gentlemen? Today's gonna be a good educational experience, but it'll also be fun with the two guests we have on today. A lot of value and hopefully a lot of fun. I'm sure that's what we expect. That's why we got these two on together. So I'll let you take over, and then I'll jump back in.
Cool. So that's Eric, and thank you for being here. Glad to see everything's working on your end. And then next to him we got my man Ken Hayes. What's going on?
Hey, what's going on, everybody? You're absolutely right. We've been getting nailed with this cold weather. That's why I still have my hat on.
Oh man, dude, I can only imagine. It just gives you more reason to stay inside and work on your computer, right?
That's right. Great.
It's a good thing. Got to be happy with the weather. That's awesome. And then we got my man Martin. What's going on?
Hey, what's up, man? Can you hear me?
Yeah, loud and clear, man. We're in the SC. We're in the SC advisor today, huh?
Hey,
all right.
Hey, we got SC going. We're ready for the season. We're in, so I'm just pumped up. I'm pumped up to have everyone on, especially our guest. And just want a quick shout out to my man Vince. We're drinking on your behalf today, man. So happy birthday. Happy birthday. Only having one, though. I'm only having one for you, but I love you, man, and happy birthday. I know you're probably watching this or whatever.
Yeah, it's Big Vince Reed's birthday weekend this weekend, and he was spending it with the family. So I'm sure you appreciate it, Martin. That's awesome, man. Thank you. So let's jump right into it. As far as the format, I just want you guys just to kind of start talking about your story. And, sorry, Terry, but ladies first. So, Diane, I mean, why don't you just tell us a little about yourself, your story, and just how you heard about MITS and go from there.
Sure. Well, you want the whole thing? It's 15 years of a story. I can do it in 60 seconds, but do you want it from the beginning or from the beginning?
Let's hear it from the beginning. Let's from the beginning, because I know there's going to be some people on this call that are looking to just kind of get started as well as also experienced marketers. So start from the beginning.
Yeah, I actually started in 1999. I was home with my two little kids. I had quit my job and run my family broke because I kept spending as if I still had my job, and had bought some products from my husband's cousin, and he invited me to a meeting, and I thought I was going to go learn more about the products and all that stuff, and it turned out to be an opportunity meeting. And I sat in that chair, and that day I said, this is it. I'm going to solve all my problems. I'm going to, I didn't even think about getting rich, but I was going to pay off our debt. We had $40,000 in credit card debt. I was going to fix all of it, and I bought a business in a box for $72.95 and started in network marketing. And then about 2001 was when I came across the ideas of direct response and what today we tend to call attraction marketing. Put that into play in my business, and my business went wild. I became, an award-winning marketer over there, and, won all the trips and all that other stuff. And in 2005, social media came out. Blogs were born, and YouTube in 2006. And I took it out like a fish to water and have been able to do all kinds of fun stuff. But my favorite part now is I get to kind of cruise around and help train people and speak at different events and, just help people come down the road because we've been very blessed with our home business, our family business, and I want other people to have that, have that option at their fingertips. And then as far as MITS is concerned, I was hanging out in Vegas, and I met the very good-looking, don't tell him I said so, Vince Reed, and I was with my friend Lisa Grossman. A lot of you guys know Lisa, and started to talk to Vince, and then he had this program going, and I took a look, and I said, well, I'm in immediately because I'm my nickname is the Digital Dingbat, which I'm sure Eric and I are like brother and sister on this. I'm not very technical, and believe it or not, I built my business without a lot of paid advertising over the years. So when I saw MITS, I thought, well, this is the place for me to learn because Vince is such a good guy. It's a great organization and a great place for somebody like me who, even though I'm very successful in many ways, when it comes to this type of marketing, it's just not my arena. So I felt it was safe for me to come and learn, and I felt really good about bringing my my list and my camp over to MITS. So that's how I got here.
That's a great background. I wanted to jump into, because we spoke in setting this up, Diane, and one thing that's kind of a burning question for me that I think would be good for the community is, MITS is obviously a training platform that's for anybody. But for you, somebody that was already established in the industry, already doing well, at the time, you heard about this, what was the appeal factor for you? I want our members to hear, what was the appeal factor for you to get connected specifically to MITS?
Eric, am I allowed to speak freely? Vinny, raise your hand, shake your head if I'm allowed to speak freely. Okay.
Yes, you are.
There's a lot of crap out there. I already started. So there's a lot of crap out there. There's a lot of fly-by-night baloney. I want to use other words, and Terry knows I want to. There's a lot of crap out there. And I just can't bring my folks to any old place. I can't sell them any old thing. I can't stick them in any old organization knowing that it's going to be gone in a week. It's going to be, a place where people just really get used and abused. And when I got to know Vince and his reputation and the people that he's worked with, a lot of my colleagues have been counseled by Vince, and the more I got to know him, the more I said, this is a place, because I'm very funny about bringing people to just any old deal, or any old community. Very picky about it. And I just felt that this was a quality environment that wasn't just here to just quick sell, but was designed to serve people, teach them, and give them, if somebody buys traffic here, I don't really have to worry about whether there's, whether it's on the up and up. Where if I send someone to buy traffic somewhere else, gosh knows what they're getting. So that's the really frank answer.
Awesome. That's what we want and would expect from you as far as your responses. Another question I'm wondering about is, is there any particular strategy as you kind of got in and you kind of start looking around the back office? Is there anything that maybe stands out to you particularly, maybe for your business, but something that also, for the community as a whole, that you think, man, that's just a dynamite, that particular training is just a dynamite one that I think people might be able to get in and run with?
Well, the training is all excellent, but I'll tell you what my hook was and what I loved and still love. MITS pages. I love MITS pages as a giveaway. I love it as an option to introduce people to MITS. I mean, you give them the option to go build these beautiful pages. It's easy to do. You can, it's a box, so anybody can use it. It's a great intro. But then every time somebody logs in, they're being reminded, hey, come on over and take a look. So I put, I don't know how many people on MITS pages. I mean, guys, if you're looking for a way to introduce people to MITS without having to sell, that is, bar none, just an incredible flow-through way to get people introduced without them feeling like you're soliciting them. Everybody needs to build good-looking web pages, and most places are charging an arm and a leg for that type of tool, and you guys are giving it away.
Right.
So it's a great technique.
That is awesome. That's awesome. I want to maybe open up to anybody on the council to see if you guys or ladies have any questions that you could throw. And then Martin, I know you're normally our moderator for questions. This is a good chance to let everyone know if you have questions for Diane or Terry, go ahead and type them in either on the Hangout page or in the Facebook group, and we'll make sure we pass that along and get those questions answered. But I'll open it to the council members and see if you guys could throw something Diane's way.
Yeah, I have a question, Diane.
Sure, Michelle.
I mean, you've got a really interesting history, how you literally succeeded offline, and then you've eventually taken online. Like the way I kind of work and teach is that online is pretty much offline, but online. Like you're still using the same. Would you agree with that?
Well, I would, other than we have some great exposure options that we don't have offline online, and much more reasonable, because back when I started, if you really wanted to advertise, you were looking at postcards, which here in the States used to be reasonable. Now they're a little expensive, but you were looking at mail order, buying lists, or acquiring lists. Those types of things are full page ads, and there used to be industry publications. They're still out there, but they were bigger and more popular back in the day. So you were looking, the options for advertising weren't as big. We have so many options here. I mean, just alone in MITS, he shows you Twitter, he'll show you Facebook, he'll show you all these different options, the mobile stuff. Guys, the world has moved to these, phones. I mean, I'm right now, a whole bunch of my team at one particular place, one particular organization I market into, they're overseas and they're all using phones. They don't even have computers.
Wow.
So, so there's so many more options, and that's why I like online, because there's more leverage, and there's more options. But yes, talking to people is no different online than offline, and I think people get online, they get weird. They start talking to like-minded individuals. I noticed that you're a friend of Terry Lamb's. I find Terry Lamb's posts very interesting. In fact, I think that it would be particularly interesting if we could become friends and we could exchange business ideas, like how annoying Terry is on Facebook. I'm sorry. We're going to mix it up a little bit. But, nobody talks to people like that. It's just downright weird. So why do you get online and start typing strangeness it's just weird. So, yes. So, Shelley, that was a long-winded yes.
Yeah, we could do a whole webinar on showing all of the pitches that we get on Facebook and email, all this stuff. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Literally like a 500-word pitch right out of the gate. I should show you guys one. I think I'm going to do a video about it. This guy did I'll be honest, probably a 200-word pitch, first message. And I said,
Going 200 words?
I'm like, this can't really work for you. And he comes on and does another 150 words. I was telling you, for $20, if you sign up now, you get it on the front end. So I started engaging him, and I said, listen, I think we should have a talk. I'm not a therapist, but I think I can help you. And he continues to give me the pitch. I'm thinking I'm just going to kill it. And I was like, wow, it's absolutely amazing that someone, has been taught that method and just continues to shove it down your throat. And yeah, it's pretty amazing. So that was my 2 cents. Sorry, don't get me started.
Great segue into Mr. Lamb. Hey, man. We had you on once before and had a couple technical glitches. Imagine that.
Well, that's why I brought my assistant today.
Yes.
There you go.
And by the way, I just want to make sure everybody knows I specially requested Terry. And his assistant, because
why? Because why? Come on, you got to finish that.
Why did I start? Well, they said they usually have 2 MITS members come in, and the first person I thought of and the most fun person I could think of was Terry Lamb. There you go. That was a big.
Yeah, I mean, I should tell our story from my point of view, but I mean, we turned this call into about a 4-hour diatribe of psychological manipulation.
Well, hey Terry, man, tell us a little bit, everybody that's watching, a little bit about your background and kind of what led you into the industry and different things like that, and then we'll get to the MITS part.
Wow, I hate talking about myself.
That's why we have you on, brother.
Come on.
So you can,
I
therapeutically work through that.
This is therapy? Okay, I'll tell you what, I'm going to lay down on my couch real quick. Well, it's interesting. I was listening to Diane. I got into the industry in 1994. And, it's kind of like I get a kick about, I think I get a kick out of, maybe it was Gary Vaynerchuk. I think he said back in the day, 1994, it was like, I got on the internet and said, oh man, we can pick up chicks with this thing. And then it became, oh wait, I can start a business. I can really make some money at this. At the time, I was making $12,000 a year, $12,500 a year salary as a flight instructor. Absolute poverty level. The only way I could live is to rent a room from my girlfriend. So of course, I immediately go into, I've always been very, very ambitious, so I immediately go into the concept of I've got to create some income, I've got to start a business, and long story short, ended up writing a book called Mail Order Secrets. It was one that I printed out from my computer, that I packaged up in a 3-ring binder, and I sold it through the mail for like $29. And I built a website. I called AOL up one day, and I said, I need a website. And they said, well, you need to learn HTML. And I said, what's that? It's hypertext markup language. I had no idea. I went and bought a big, thick book, Microsoft front page, built a website, and started selling it. And I started selling 1 or 2 of them a week all over the world. But guess how I took orders? You had to mail me a money order, because I didn't know how to do e-commerce or take transactions. Back in that day, you had to have your own programming done. I was making $12,500 a year as a flight instructor, literally eating ramen noodles and hoping for one day that I'd be an airline captain, which I was, and make the big money, which I didn't, because the industry fell apart. So that was kind of my foray. I was able to create a few $100 a week, and then I had this kind of, I think, one of the biggest marketing lessons of my life. I'm selling this book for $29, and I'm just out there marketing it like crazy every day, doing all the wrong stuff, but I've got it everywhere. I'm posting on forums. Don't do that. I'm doing all this crazy stuff that they tell you to do in the beginning, and I started getting orders from all over the world. I get orders from Saudi Arabia, things like that, and I go to the post office, package this thing up, and cash in my $29 mail order, money order, and they'd say, okay, it's $37 for the shipping. And I went, oh shit, what? And yes, I'm going to swear, even though Diane said she's not going to, I'm going to swear. So I said, oh shit, this isn't going to work. So instead of shutting the website down, I decided I'm going to overprice this thing. No one will buy it until I figured out all the shipping all over the world. So I said $97 for my book, and people kept ordering at $97. And that's when it really changed for me. I went, okay, how much can I charge for this thing? $197, $297, and it really kind of took off. But the whole time I was in fear that a job was really my security. So I'm flying for the airlines. I make captain pretty quick. I'm in my mid-20s for United Airlines, and then 9/11 happens. The industry grows to crap. Literally, the companies are going out of business. Fuel prices are too high. They take our retirement and then threaten me with a layoff and what's called a furlough. And then they decide 2 weeks later, they call us all into a meeting and say, we're shutting down the base you guys are flying out of. It's a mandatory layoff for everybody. So I literally parked the last airplane in the hangar and walked away and said, I'm never going back. And the first year in internet marketing, I show a lot of people this, I made $136 my first year. Because why? Because I became a consumer. I consumed everything, thinking that, oh, I'm going to learn something. Man, I could tell you all the products I bought. Literally, I cashed in what I had left of retirement, spent the whole thing, started borrowing money from my roommate, and I hung the sheet of paper on the wall one day that said, my goal, earn $50 a day. Where did I get that number from? $12,000 a year, right? That's what I survived on as an instructor. We might as well go all the way back to the beginning. And he laughed at me. He's like, $50 a day? What the hell's wrong with you? And, so that was my first year. I made $136, and then the next year it took off. Went right to six figures the next year because I stopped buying crap, and I started doing a thing that I seen Diane talk about this morning in a video, believe it or not, on Facebook, which was hustle. I just started to hustle. I started to focus, of course, but I started to say, well, if no one's going to click on my link and buy it, maybe I ought to not offer the link. I'll just offer my phone number, and when they call me, I'll talk them into buying it. And my business just blew up. And then I started to tell people, I'm so excited. You just take phone calls and you make money. And they're like, I have to talk to somebody? And it's been the same thing all along. I see Diane going, yes, I feel it.
I'm just loving this. I didn't know about your mail order background because I'm similar in that from back then. And one of the things I love about Terry, and then I'll shut up, Terry, from the day I first saw his marketing, Terry always said, people always say to me, why is your phone number on stuff? Guys, if you go on my Facebook right now or if you go on my website, wherever, you're going to find my phone number. And people are like, aren't you afraid the boogeyman's going to come get you? And I said, no, I'm afraid that if I don't put my phone number, people won't give me money. Why do we live in this weird place where we're not out, and why are we not meeting people every day and showing them what we got? I mean, just MITS pages alone, how many could you give out a day if you really wanted to? If you really wanted to, and if you wanted to make big money and be like Terry and be the top dude here, and beat his ass for next year, because that would be fun. See, now I curse. See, you started me. What if you made it your goal? Because Terry said one other thing, and Terry, I'm sorry, but you just got me jacked up. He talked about $50 a day. That's called a nut, guys. That was his nut, okay? He knew that that's what he needed to survive. You have a lead nut. You need to know how many leads you need a day to survive, and you need to know how much money you need to make a day to survive. What's your third one? What, you're saying three?
No,
three,
three leads a day I can survive on.
Me too. I 3 to 5. And people are like, and everybody's like, I just generated 72,000 leads. I'm like, excellent. I generated 3, and I'm making a lot of money. So Terry and I are a little different than a lot of other things you're going to hear out there, but we have a common denominator where if everything got stripped away, if Facebook went away or this went away, we could easily continue operating business, and we would not be out of business. We'd be the king and queen. So it's just kind of, I had to jump in here because it's a mindset that I think a lot of people have lost. They like build a blog, and they just sit and hope that magic happens. I'm waiting for leads. I'm waiting for leads. Oh, I got a lead. Oh, wait, there's one.
Yeah, I really want to kind of talk about it, put in perspective, because I think people, they really just write it off. And they write it off because I think, and this was actually a thought I had in the shower today, believe it or not. I was thinking.
Were you naked in the shower? I'm just checking.
I actually don't have any pants on right now, but whole other story. In fact, I have, my desk is on this electronic lift, so if I hit the button, watch this. Hopefully I can stop it so if I hit the button, it'll just slowly go down.
Okay, you're frightening me right now. What the freak is that?
Or I can hit the button, it'll come back up. Although, now it's not.
He's on the blacklist. I'm telling you he's on the blacklist, Vinny. I'm telling you he's on the blacklist.
What's interesting?
Only Terry.
Here's why I bought this. I've seen it advertised online. They had a girl, 125-pound girl, sitting on the corner, and as the desk was going up and down, and I'm going, I gotta get one of those.
Oh, is this like a standing sitting desk? You're not on a platform moving.
No, actually, the desk itself is just moving. I'm just standing here. Yeah.
I gotcha.
Okay,
I want to point something real quick, Terry, before you get started. That both you and Diane just talked about is your lead volume per day. 3 to 5 leads, and for those that are paying attention, that's something Vince talks about all the time. Just setting your business up to be able to have consistent lead flow at 5 leads a day, 10 leads a day, and I'm glad you both pointed on that. You both are established. You're both doing well, and you just reiterated something that we hear Vince and even Vinny talk about a lot throughout the trainings, during every week, every month. And it really can get to being that simple, is setting it up where you can have a consistency. I know, Terry, you talk on the phone all the time, but it doesn't have to be this overwhelming process, like Diane said, of 1,700 leads a day. It really can be quality leads that MITS is all about, targeted leads, and making yourself available to talk on the line.
Eric, let me just say, Eric, let me interrupt you because I think it's really important that you hear. I know you used the words doing well, and I appreciate that, but I think you guys understand. He's been here since '94, and I've been here since '99. So our philosophy is about staying in the game. The name of the game is stay alive, and we stayed in the game long enough, and we've been making 6 figures for a long time, multi-6 figures, and so on and so forth. So it's a philosophy. It's a business philosophy that we're carrying, and I think that it's just important that MITS members understand quality traffic that's targeted is what allows you to work with less leads. Crappy traffic that's untargeted is what causes you to need ridiculous numbers of leads. So it's a big difference where Terry generates buyers. What a novel idea. We generate buyers, Terry. What a crazy idea. Buyers.
That's exactly it. I mean, and I have my philosophy there. There's definitely the targeting concept, but I say to myself, well, you know what? I'm going to kiss enough frogs, and I'm going to spit out a buyer. And I try not to get too hung up in it. And I had a conversation with someone the other day, and they said my Facebook ads aren't working, Terry. And I said, well, what are you targeting? What's going on? And they said, well, I'm targeting affiliate marketers and internet marketing. And I said, is that targeting? That's not targeting at all. I'm like, how about you target some like Frank Kern, and then how about you create 5 ads that are all targeting Frank Kern, and one is age 21 to 31, and one is age 32 to 42, 41, whatever, and start to weed out, what age group and what Frank Kern targeted person is going to respond most to what you're doing. Now I just kind of am making that up, and people start to run off and they start targeting Frank Kern. The point is, if you're going to say targeting, target. I don't even do a lot of that, believe it or not. Sometimes I wonder how Diane really does it, because you can't look at what Diane is doing and understand what she's doing. I mean, I think it's much more. It's deeper than that. It just is. Like, I'll give you an example. Look at a post Diane did a couple days ago, and it says "wazow" or something like that.
The word of the day is "wazow." Yeah. And
I'm like, and she's just getting all of this feedback and interaction. And I'm like, what? She's doing something there. Okay. And you would look at it and go, the other person would go, hey, buy my shit, buy my shit, buy my shit, and nothing's working for them. And I'm not really even that big on Facebook, but what?
Something I want to kind of just say, to mention to both of you, you and Diane, the 3 to 5 targeted leads a day, I think to someone who's watching this, they're probably like, that makes sense. I get it, 3 to 5 targeted leads. But the reason why though, it works for you guys, yes, you've been around for quite some time, but it's more about consistency.
Yeah.
I think, is that you're generating those 3 to 5 leads, you're trying to generate those consistently day in and day out. And I think that's the hard part for people to really understand. To get to 6 figures, it's not, okay, you generated 3 to 5 leads a day, call them, okay, you made it needs to be 3 to 5 leads every day. And it needs to be something that's a lot more consistent. Because and you're right, Terry, it's a numbers game. If you kiss enough frogs, you're going to find, if you talk to enough targeted leads and you believe in the product that you're selling, and you're getting them to know, like, and trust you, there's no doubt.
He just said something very important.
Yes, and that's half the battle too. And I said it purposely.
See, that's everybody's like, I don't know, I think it might be okay. Okay, let me generate 3 leads. I have a big question mark on my forehead, and I'm gonna go, would you like to buy my product? As opposed to, let me show you what I got, it's gonna work for you.
Yeah, you have to trust what you're selling, I mean, you can't, how are you gonna logically generate 3 to 5 targeted leads if you don't have I mean, you got to feel that your product that you have is something that they need as well, that's going to help their business. You know, so it's about that consistency and really the confidence, I think, is why that strategy of your guys has worked for so long, in all honesty. I mean, I think it's a huge takeaway.
You just got my brain firing off here with, you know, agreement, disagreement, you know, all these, like this evolutionary process that we go through. You know, literally I say two things to people. I try to say this to my entire group of people that are following me and listen to me. Okay, I'm going to talk to them, Terry, or I haven't talked to them because I don't know what to say. I go, I'm going to give you exactly what to say. The very first thing I always say is, because they're inbound calling me, I offered it, you know, give me a call, and it's literally like the doctor-patient conversation. I say, tell me a little bit about what you've done online to make some money, and then I go like this. Pull out a piece of paper, and I put the phone on mute, and I write all their trance words down. Da, 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 da. And when they're done, I unmute the phone. I go, okay, let me get this straight. So you're 53. You hurt your back. Your wife's working a second job. You're trying to put your son to college. You are on disability, blah, 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 blah. And you know what? I get it. And I think, get ready here, I think this is what you should buy. That's it. That's all I say. And they're like, okay, great. I go, call me back when you've bought it, and I'll tell you what to do next. Now, you're going to laugh at this, but I'm being really, really serious and not being facetious. They call me back and go, like, let's take MITS, for example. I'll say, get the $19 offer. Buy that the moment you're in and you see my ugly mug up on the screen, then I'm your sponsor. I want you to call me back. I'm going to tell you what to do next. What do you think I tell them next? How to buy the next thing.
Hello?
Buy level 2. I think if you go to level 2, in fact, log into your office right now, click on account, see that where it's level 2, click that, fill out your stuff. Yep, does everything look right before you hit submit? Okay, hit submit. Awesome. Now, to be honest with you, I think you should buy level 3 now. Now people are like, what? Why? Because I know damn well that if they have this system, they're going to do really great. And I know without it, they're going to fail. It's as simple as that. So I'm just helping them buy. That's all I'm doing. It's not a sales pitch. I made the mistake forever to do this. I think all I should say it this way. There are two selling paths in my eyes. There's the consumer path, which I have to speak to you in broad, wide-reaching metaphors and strokes and stories and results. It works. It's magical. Buy now. And then when you're speaking to a buyer, you speak to them in the sense that, let me show you the toolbox. Let's open the hood and let me show you. I used to sell on the front the toolbox, and I struggled with that because people don't buy it. And then this is just my take on it, but people weren't buying the toolbox on the front. It confused the hell out of them. So what I did was I sell opportunity and lifestyle, and literally I've been doing really, really well I just did a video sales letter, and in it I say, if you buy this, I'm not saying it's going to make you sexier, but it could. Okay? I don't open up the hood and say, well, let me show you all the products you're going to be able to promote, because that's when they start going, I don't know how to promote products. I can't talk to anybody, you know. And I go on and on. I've been using this one a lot. I go, do you know how happy Oprah and Ellen are? Do you know how happy those ladies are? Yeah. Well, I'm not saying buying this is going to give you that kind of happiness, but it could. And that's interesting. That's what the consumer buys on the front. And I didn't get that in the beginning. I was always selling the systems and the toolbox guy. And I did pretty well with that just because I did one thing. I'd hustle. I'd get on the phone and we'd talk. There's been times when I talked to someone, embarrassingly, 2 hours and sold a $19 product. Okay, my fault. I just need to get better at getting that $19 sale in a couple minutes, and then getting the call back to get to level 2, and then getting the call back to get to level 3. You know, I think it just scares the daylights out of everybody because they just feel like they don't know what to say. Well, just say, here's what you should buy.
Here's what you should do next.
Yes, it's like a doctor. It's like a doctor. When you go to the doctor, if you're going in for a checkup, you don't want him to recommend anything to you. You want him to tell you you're in good shape. But if you go in, like let's say you went down to the pharmacy and you stuck your arm in the cup and you found out your blood pressure's high and you think something's up, and you go into the doctor and you know something's up, you want his recommendation. See, if somebody's 53 years old, broke, on disability, and they got to put their kid through college, they're calling Dr. Terry and they want Dr. Terry to tell them what to do. You guys follow that? If somebody's not dissatisfied, if somebody's happy and they're making good money in their life, and they're the only reason people are looking for a home business or options to build their home business, you know, like MITS, which would be an option to help somebody with their business, is because they're dissatisfied and they're not where they want to be. So Terry's positioned as the doctor, you know, and so he just makes a recommendation and tells them what they need. You know, here's your prescription. And they just go down to the pharmacy and fill it. See, people don't question the doctor, or they should, but they don't a lot. It's just the doctor gave me something and it's going to make my, you know, my heart not pop open. I'm in. You know, so Terry said this is what's going to help me, you know, make some money. I'm in. And notice that he gives them an assignment and then tells them what to do next. Now, you can do this online too, guys. I haven't called a lead in 12 years. Once they're in, once they bought something, I'll talk to them and keep doing what Terry's doing. I don't talk to them up front. But they're welcome to call, and once they call, it's a very quick go ahead and get this, and it's always a small sale to get them to make a transaction, because I don't talk to them unless they make a transaction. I also, by the way, guys, don't talk to anybody who's not on my list. First question I ask someone, they call me up or message me, the first thing I say is, hey, awesome. Hey, are you on my newsletter? I have a great newsletter, and I send out really good tips and stuff for you. Let's get you on that first, which, by the way, is a technique. Hey, by the way, can I read you guys something that just came? You guys will like this.
Actually, before we do that, Diane, real quick, I want to touch on Martin. Maybe if you could check for questions and see if we have anybody that might be, you know, throwing some questions out there. And I want to hear from Lisa and Ken in a minute. And Diane, right after you do that, Terry, I kind of want to fast forward to your situation a little bit. To you've already, you know, the point that you were already successful, and then you saw MITS. I want to hear your viewpoint on why that made sense to you to get connected with MITS when you were already established at the point, you know, that came around. So Ken, be ready, Lisa, and Martin as well, and then Diane, go and do that, and then Terry.
No, go ahead. I think what you just want Terry to talk about is much more important. So please talk.
Yeah,
go do that.
Terry, do that, and then we'll hear from Ken and Lisa next.
Okay, so I'm going to talk to the business owner at this point. Okay. I'm going to talk about systems and toolboxes and things like that, like kind of the non-sexy stuff. But, you know, I needed this stuff in my business. If you look at, I have a funnel. What we were all talking about is a funnel. Diane says, I don't talk to anybody until they become a buyer. Well, in her, she's either mocked that out or it's in her head. That's her funnel. There's a process. Like when someone calls me, I say, what have you been doing to make money online? There's really what they tell me is I'm promoting this product, I'm doing this is failing for me, all that stuff. So I literally know what to sell them. There are a lot of people that call me up that are already in, let's say, MITS. Well, I have an opportunity, and I've actually done this for a lot of people. I think Lisa, for example, somebody called me and I upgraded them to level 3 and then realized that they were Lisa's lead. And I went, okay, I've got something else to sell you then too. And then I brought them into another program I was in. But yes, I'm selling them stuff, but I also know that I can support them in it, that if they're struggling, they don't know how to make money with it, it's not just because Terry told them buy it. There are things and tools and systems in there that they can leverage that will make them money. Okay. So you're talking about MITS, why did I come in? If you look at my funnel, literally, let me see if I can visually explain this to you. This is the simplest thing in the world. It's advertisement over to a piece of content. The content leads them to a lead magnet. The lead magnet thank you page is a tripwire offer. And then I have a buyer. So those systems that you lease, like MITS is following up with your leads. They're talking to video on the phone. He's doing that. And that's usually where everybody goes, okay, I'm stepping out, my business is done. And that's where my business starts. Because I log in every morning to the MITS system, and I pull out the buyer, and I put them in. I'm like, what did they buy? And I have a sequence for everything that Vince offers. If they bought the MMK kit at $19 level, I put them in a 4-day email marketing sequence that says 2 things. Basically, 2 things I've already told you. Hey, it's Terry. You can give me a call if you need some help with this stuff. I will help you skip over the potholes and the speed bumps, and I'll just get you way ahead of where you would be if you were trying to figure this out yourself. So give me a call. Glad to help you. I got blueprints. I got videos. I got signposts where I can point you. And then in that 4-day sequence, I say, here is the next thing you should buy. You see how I'm always saying, give me a call. Here's what you should buy.
Do you move them manually, Terry? I'm sorry. Do you move them manually?
Yeah.
No, that's fine. I just want to know. That's my speed. That's why I want to know, because I like this idea. I want to use it.
I mean, I wish you could automate that stuff. You know, I mean, I hired an assistant, believe it or not, to do this. But because I focus on a level of leads, let's say, you know, like we said 3. I was like, 3 is my minimum. If I don't get at least 3 people and 2 calls and 1 or 2 conversions a day at, you know, my goal is usually about $1,000 a day. If I'm not doing that, then, you know, something's not working out. But I don't need, I'm not saying, I always think it's a cop-out. I'm not saying that I wouldn't like 200 leads a day. I just, you know, I'd be probably wasting 150 of them, because if you're not truly telling people how and why to buy, I think they don't. I mean, I did a webinar yesterday and made a lot of money from it because I simply showed people what to buy. It was interesting. People called me and said, well, Terry, I've been in this program a year. I didn't know it worked that way. This is amazing. Can I now be on your team? I'm like, well, you're not sponsored by me. I don't know. You know, we have to kind of figure that stuff out. If you've been dormant for a year, maybe the company owner will let me, you know, bring you over to me because you want to be on my team. Who knows? But I chose MITS, if you look at my funnel there, because MITS gives me, once I get a buyer, then I put them into like an upsell, cross-sell, and downsell email follow-up series. If I get a buyer and I put them into a 4-day sequence, at the end of the 4-day sequence, they fall out into a general bucket. And then I broadcast email every day to that general bucket, and I send them to more lead magnets. That then leads them to tripwires. For me, MITS was the lead magnet tripwire that I was able to kind of put in the middle, because if you're only promoting one program online, you know, you're burning your list. You're burning your list. They're only seeing like one tiny little thing.
Buy this, join this, join this, join this, join this, join. It's like.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Well, you know, they didn't. You know, you might be able to be good at it and reposition it in a different way every week, but you also need, you know, look at all the different MITS products. When you talk about, I get a buyer, I say level 2, level 2. I put them into a 7-day sequence actually to get them to call me and go to level 2. If they don't, they fall out of that into a bucket where I promote to them all of the single product offers, the Facebook PPC, Twitter PPC, mobile PPC. If they don't buy any of those over a 3 or 4 day sequence, or I'm sorry, yeah, over that 7-day sequence, then they go back into a bucket and I bring them back around. So if most people are sitting back, bringing in a subscriber, kind of hiding behind their computer going, I hope they buy, and then they don't, and then they're like, I just got to go out and get more leads. No, I've got, you know, I don't know if you guys know, well, I won't mention his name, but this big industry leader, I was having dinner with him a few months ago, and he goes, Terry, how big's your list? And I go, I'd be embarrassed to tell you, because I know this guy's like got 500,000 people on his list. I know he does. And I told him, he goes, no, really tell me. I go, no, because you're going to tell people and all, you want to talk about it. He goes, no, I won't. I told him, and he about choked on his steak. And he goes, what? How are you doing that? And I said, well, I'm manually, in a sense, repurposing my traffic. You know, I worked really hard to get to the subscriber, so I'm going to send them through all sorts of little side funnels and upsells and downsells, because what's in the end, I want to do this and get a buyer. And now when I got a buyer, then I can put them in like a lot longer sequence. When I say buyer, I don't mean tripwire offer. I mean someone that spent probably $500 to $1,000. Now, to me, that's what I call a hyper-responsive buyer. Now I put them in like a 21-day sequence where I start to show them all the big-ticket, high-ticket type of stuff. So I don't want to get off on a rant there about segmenting your list and stuff like that, and I'm glad to talk about it. But that's, you know, I basically said, how do I do this without getting 200 leads a day? Because I wasn't capable at that point of getting 200 leads a day. You know, so how do I hustle and do it with 5 or 10 leads a day? And I think it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, awesome. And a lot of great value from both of you two. Definitely appreciate it. I was about to go to Mark next, but it looks like he dropped off. I'm sure he'll jump back in. Lisa, I want to hear if you have any questions to shoot out to either one of these two. Ken, maybe we'll get you next, and then we'll see. Maybe Shelly, I don't know if you could check the questions on the Hangout, and then we'll jump in on that point. We're coming up to the top of the hour. We definitely want to respect everybody's time. Appreciate it again. And Lisa, go ahead. We'll pass it on to you.
Yes, hi, thank you, Eric. Now, I know Terry and Diane has spoken a lot about, how things have been going for them, and like somebody like me, for myself even, like I just started in the industry last year, right? So somebody that's just started now, I'm sure a lot of these things that have been said, they're like, what are they talking about? But like us, we get it, we understand. And I'm actually learning a lot. Thank you guys so much. I'm really appreciating everything that you guys are saying. That's awesome. I'm writing down notes. But I've had a lot of people even coming up to me asking me, okay, well, how do you get leads? And they're not understanding, right? Talking about targeted traffic, having to talk to people, because all it is spam, spam, spam. Like, I know I'm getting spammed right and left. I'm like, well, that's a lead. That's clearly somebody that needs help, right? So instead of deleting them, go ahead and speak to them. Just say, hey, how long have you been doing this? You're spamming me, so clearly you need help, right? So you just have a conversation with them, and you got to find their problem. You got the tool to fix their problem, and that's MITS. So that's why I've actually been able to actually do well with MITS myself, and that's actually coming straight from Mr. Terry Lamb. That's what, he's taught me. Because at first I didn't have the money to invest in, like traffic and this and that, like all of Vince's teachings. I didn't have that money. I was just starting off. I didn't have it. So I'm like, what's the cheapest way that I could just start off, to get that leverage is to talk to people. Go ahead and have a conversation. There was one morning I said, you know what, this morning I'm going to wake up, I'm going to make a sale. I had Terry in my ears. I'm like, I'm going to make a sale today. And you know what? I did, because I told myself I'm going to make a sale. And I went and I did it. Thank you, Terry.
Well, you know what? I'm glad to lease my assistant to you. But you know what, Lisa? Here's what's funny. I remember, where were we? Were we in California? I don't know. We were somewhere at an event, and we sit down, and I had just met you, and I told you to do that. I'm like, come on, Lisa. And it was interesting to hear all of honestly, the brainwashing that you were getting, and I'd use that word in the industry a lot because, go back to the concept of, well, I lost my train of thought, but the concept was, hey, Lisa, just, talk to some people, make a sale. And you did it, but very interesting. Look, now you're on the leaderboards, you got MITS awards, and I've told everybody in my group to do it. Why did only Lisa really do it? Why? I don't know.
I got it. You have to be teachable. You have to be moldable. You have to have that open mind to be able to think that way. It's one thing to say, yeah, I get it. Oh, yeah, I get it. But do it. Just do it.
Oh, I know what I was going to say. It's the brainwashing in the industry. They truly make you believe, and they did me for a long time, that it's about place an ad, get a subscriber, put them into the funnel, and the funnel automatically makes sales. It's possible. You also have to be driving some volume into it. And if you don't have the volume in the beginning, which you're not going to have, then you got to hustle, like Diane said in her video. You got to hustle. So just hustle. And I know people don't even know what that means, but get out of the brainwashing that the internet is a get some clicks. Perfect example. Some guy said, Terry, I've got 70 buyers at the initial lead. What do I want to say? Tripwire offer. Got 70 buyers, but only one has ever upgraded. I go, oh, really? So you got 70. Only one is upgraded to level 3. How many of the other 69 have you talked to? I haven't. Jesus. How much? I think when I got to like $80,000 in MITS, I'd had 79 buyers. I'm like, you got $80,000 staring you in the face with 70 buyers, but you haven't wanted to talk to one of them. So I'll be quiet now.
I hope you guys just heard that. 79 buyers, and he was up to $80,000. I mean, people are leaving money on the table. It's like crazy. It's like, wow.
So yeah, here's a funny one. Another program that I'm in, I got to the top of the leaderboard, and they have several different leaderboards. One is most sales in the last 7 days, and then at the top it's like most leads in the last 7 days. Well, I've got the most sales in the last 7 days, and I'm not even on the most leads in the last.
I'm never on the top leads for it. I'm always on the top sales and the top long-term retention.
Yeah. And every buyer I had already talked to. I think the owner of the program said, "What are you doing?" I said, "I'm just talking to everybody." Because he's like, "You're converting at 70%." Well, that's because I'm talking to them. You know, so I know nobody wants to do that, but what's that?
And you believe in what you're sharing. So when you tell somebody to go ahead and upgrade, you know, you believe it, and therefore they follow suit.
Like yesterday, I did a webinar, and I showed people the back office and the tools. And before the webinar started, I was doing jumping jacks and push-ups, and I get on, and I am pumped. I am ready to go. This stuff is awesome. Instead of, okay, hey guys, it's Terry. Let me tell you a boring story about my life, and then show you how this works. You know, I actually, when I did my MITS webinar, the very first one, I think I made like 30K that first month from the first webinar I did. Vince called me and said, "What the hell did you do?" And he went and watched my webinar, and you could tell I was excited about it. I'm like, this is going to change your life, guys. I'm like, this is a game changer. It's a game changer for me. I don't care what you guys do with it. Here's what I'm going to do with it. And it just sold really, really well. So, I mean, there's a lot of little nuggets in there, you know, having conversations, being enthusiastic, believing in the product, you know, get excited about it.
Yeah, very cool. We just checked for questions. I didn't see any in Facebook. Shelly didn't see any on the Hangout. Ken, open it up for you. And I think Diane, she'll be jumping back in here. Hangout is doing great as usual, but she'll be jumping back on. But Ken, let's hear some thoughts and questions from you, man.
Did we lose Diane? We did.
Yeah, she'll be back in. She's fell out.
Well, but I could say the great reason why there's probably no questions is because laid out a lot of value here. I mean, especially, you know, with Terry talking about, you know, just really talking, calling your leads, like speaking to your people, and Diane, you know, with the connection, like, you know, you're going to, when you're out there and you're exposed and people see that you're in this industry, they're going to, you know, be hitting you up with all kind of messages, however, you know, their company teaches them and whatnot, and then when they go ahead and call you, I like how she has her funnel set up saying, "Hey, are you on my list?" Well, if you're not, you're pretty much wasting my time. So, you know, go ahead and get on my list, and then we can talk, right? So, and that's a great point. It's like, do you have an appointment to be here on my phone? Get on my list so we can have an appointment, and we'll talk. And then with Terry, it's just like, you know, with the whole setup with, you know, there's people struggling, right? So instead of saying, well, here, go to this link, and then pretty much like hope they click on it, you give them a call and say, so tell me, what have you been doing, and how's that working for you? Well, I've been doing this, and it's not really working out. I'm having struggles. I see you're having success with this. Well, here's what I think you should buy. So get this, and then come talk to me, and I'll tell you what to do next. That's like, man, powerful stuff right there. So I appreciate it, really do.
Awesome, awesome. Shelly.
Yeah, that's just awesome. I've just put a post on the Facebook group. So if there are any questions for Diane or Terry, look, guys, this is a great opportunity. These guys, you know, they're way ahead of probably most of us in the group, and this has been awesome. So I think a question's just come in. No, it's just from Vinny. Yeah, awesome. There have been some great nuggets in there. I particularly like, I think Terry and Diane have a very similar philosophy about their business, and, you know, I've just taken some great notes as well. I think talking to people is where it's at, and that's what Diane mentioned right at the beginning, is that, you know, and Terry's done the same thing. It's, you know, the offline thing, you do the same as you would do offline as you do online. It just happens to be online. You know, I mean, right the second, you can see our faces, you can see my eyes, and, you know, make the most of that, because it's, I just see it like, you know, it's like offline on steroids, and we've got such great opportunity. And you know what, the training that we've got in MITS is something that we can absolutely run with whatever our business is. So thank you, Terry, and thank you, Diane, for your time this morning. Loved it.
And I definitely have questions for Diane, so you guys got to give me my moment of questions for Diane. And Eric said something about respecting people's time. I don't do that.
Yeah, me neither. I think that
you gotta go, Eric. You gotta go, dog.
You're disposable. No. Guys, before Terry and I are just going to keep going. If you guys want to stay, you can. I know Eric runs a tight ship, but Terry and I, we're respectful of authority. Guys, those of you that are watching, if for a minute you think, that's great for Terry, but I can't do that, or that's great for Diane, but I can't do that, what you really want to understand is because you're part of MITS and the MITS community, you have all these people in your back pocket. You have Vince Reed, you have Vinny Aiello, you have all of these people that are here in your back pocket, which means when you get that sale and you go back to call that guy, you can, and if you get stuck, this is what I do, guys. This is called the Diane Hochman Big Fat Chicken Technique. You're talking to the guy and you're saying, okay, well, I think you should take a look at, level 2 and this and that, and the guy asks you some question, you go, you know what, excuse me, my phone's ringing, can I call you back in just a quick second? Hang up the damn phone, go into the Facebook group and go, okay guys, the guy just asked me this, what do I do? Tag a couple of the guys in the leadership council, they'll tell you what to say, they'll load your lips, and then you call the guy back up like you're all, well, here is the answer to your question, and blah, 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 and what's exciting is if you get in today, we can do this, this, and that. Guys, you have this whole community in your back pocket. You are not alone. And the minute you embrace that you're not alone, if you knew how many times I said, I don't know to someone, I'm not a traffic person, guys, yet I sell it all day and make a lot of money selling traffic, but I just go, I don't know, let me check in with my buddy Vince, he's the head honcho, let me see what he has to say about it, and then I go, right in the group, and Vince is going to show up, or Vinny's going to show up, and I'll go, hey guys, what about this, do we have something that covers this, I think I saw it in the back office, not sure where it is, Shelly or someone's going to answer me, and I go back and I go, hey, I just heard back from them. Don't be afraid to do that. Don't let people control the conversation. You're the one with the cookie. You're the one that has me and Terry and this whole community sitting here waiting to help you out. You have the power. Not them. They're the one that spammed you, or they're the one that answered your ad. You got to understand that. If they answered your ad, they're looking for help. Help. I'm sorry, rant.
Resourcefulness.
You know what, Diane? Yeah. I appreciate the fact that you're so nice and sweet, but I'm not that nice. Here's how I handle it. I'm not kidding you. When I've had the conversation, I've developed the value, it's time to buy, and they go into asking me what step 12 is, because that's really what they
Terry, and I agree with you. But I'm talking about these guys worried about the first question. You know what I'm saying? Like, these guys are thinking, well, I can't do that. No, actually, you can do it. If you decide that first of all, know your system, guys. Log in and know your system. Have you been through the steps? Do you know your system? Most people buy something and they never go through, so they don't know what they're talking about. If you knew what you were talking about what you have here at MITS, if you've been on the webinars, if you've been plugged in, if you go to the sessions he has, just one of my favorite features of MITS is the what does Vince call them? He's been doing these, like, they're not interviews, they're kind of throwdowns or whatever he's calling them lately.
Battle masterminds.
Battle mastermind. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's bringing in the top of the top of the top, the cream of the crop. Those alone are worth being a member. And he's bringing out the best of the best of the best. If you guys don't embrace what you have here and go out and talk to people with strength, not worrying about, they're going to ask you dumbass questions. That's what they do because they're scared. All they need to know is that you're sure. You're sure.
Wait.
Barry wants to say something. I see him. He wants to say something.
So let me say what I was going to say. So here's what I say. I go, well, you know what? That's a great question. You'll get that answer as soon as you buy. I mean that.
And again, you're thinking you can't do that, but you guys can. You can.
I'm not kidding you, because here's where that comes out of. Okay, watch this. I've got 2 cell phones. I've got Skype. I've got Skype set up in my bedroom. I've got Skype in the living room. Okay. So I'm walking around the house and I get do. I'm getting calls. You know what? I'm like, I already did the buy pitch, already did the buy, and you're starting to ask me more questions. All of your questions will be answered after you buy. It's all in there. Those are great questions. It's all in there. So even if you don't know the answer, you know, like, well, do you think Facebook is better than Twitter? You know what? That's excellent. You're going to go through the training, and that's all in there, man. And so you've got to, what am I saying? I'm incentivizing them to buy. If you start answering all of their questions, maybe they won't be in buying mode. You know, so not to kind of get off, but I'm like, you know, hey, I got another call coming in, go buy, and then call me back. We'll answer it. And I remember a very famous internet marketer hearing me say this. We were on a yacht somewhere in, where were we, Costa Rica, I think. And he was offended by the fact that I'd be getting calls, and I'd say, hey, listen, this, yeah, I know you've heard this, Eric. I say, listen, this program is $2,000. Okay, before I'm like, hello, it's $2,000. If you don't have the money, I'm not talking to you about it. Now that offended the hell out of this guy. You're not serving people. Okay, but guess what I was doing? I was testing.
How could you serve someone if they can't do it anyway? Why not give them what they need or what they need?
And you know what? And Diane, you know this guy too, top internet marketer. I won't name any names, but he was just in fact, Matt Lloyd was standing next to me, and Matt just kind of like walked away. He's like, uh-oh. Because he knows me, because I started to rip into him, you know, psychologically, like, so, you know, it's up to you to decide what works for me or what works for other people. And I mean, I appreciate your opinion, but he literally hated me for it. But I was going through a test. I literally brought in all these leads. I would answer the phone. I go, it's $2,000. Do you have that, or we're not talking? I was testing. I'm not saying I do that all the time, but it's a method. When someone calls me for the $19 MMK kit offer, I'll take their order. I'll take their call, but I'm like, it's $19. You'll get that and call me back. Okay. Well, blah 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 blah. It's $19. Call me back. And sometimes people will say, well, Terry, I'm gonna have to save up the money and I'll get it next week. I go, then don't buy, please, because it's not for you. Because I'm gonna want you to buy more stuff. And you know, they're like, okay, thanks. You know, I'm not being rude to them. I'm just, you know, kind of being.
Novel idea, telling the truth. Telling the truth that there's a back end and they're going to need to buy something else. What a novel idea. It's true.
Hey Terry, you got a burning question for Diane, and I want to hear from Martin after that.
Hey, can I jump in real quick?
Okay, go ahead,
man. Man, I think can you guys hear me?
Yep.
I think you passed the bug on to me, man. I was having a little bit of trouble on these hangouts. So anyways, man, I'm just honored to be able to be here, to be honest with you guys. And just the value that you guys share on this.
Are you guys understanding him?
No.
It's going on. It's going in and out.
Ah, man. I'm having trouble if you guys can hear me. Can you hear me?
Oh, you're back now. Yeah.
I'm having trouble with my audio, so if
You're good now. You're good now.
Oh, okay. I just want to say real quick, I'm just so honored and blessed to be on this call with Diane and Terry. Just the value that you guys shared. I mean, everyone that's listening right now and watching this, even if you're watching the replay, you can go back and watch this again, because there's so much value that they just shared how they basically funnel people in through their systems, and they just have a ton of wisdom that you can definitely learn from. And that's important. I mean, that's why we have these leadership councils to bring people on. So I'm just blessed that I'm here able to be I have a question real quick. This might help the audience, our community. Diane, like on MITS pages, like, what is that?
I can't understand you, honey. I can't hear you.
It's not working. Seems like your audio is better when you stay closer to your screen.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, that's better.
Here we go.
I just have a quick question, and it might help the community. For Diane, what's the best way that you share MITS pages with somebody else?
I send it out to my list. I put posts on my Facebook about it. I tweet about it. I've done webinars where I just tell people I'm gonna teach them how to build quick and easy capture pages in less than 5 minutes. I get 100, 200 people to show up if I just announce that. You could run a little ad to webinar. Guys, demonstrate it. demonstrate it. If you just demonstrated it, you're going to have 100% conversion on a webinar. And then once you know that they're on MITS pages because they had a credit card and they signed up, now you can contact them and follow up with them and do exactly what Terry just told you. So I may start with the buck, where he may start with the 19, but it's the same concept. We're getting them in the door, finding out if they have a credit card, etc. So now we can go ahead and I can say, okay, go buy this, go buy that. Yeah.
You know,
Think about who doesn't want to learn how to build great looking capture pages in 5 minutes or less. Even a technical idiot can do it. Write a great little headline, run a little ad, or just go do social media, do videos, etc., and promote an event. Do Google Hangout.
The big thing you guys have both touched on is the value of building your community, and I know that Vince talks about that a lot. Is getting in there and creating a following. And I love how you just talked on Diane just talking about showing it. That's another thing Vince tells us all the time is demonstrate, the products and then build that following like you guys have done for, since the 90s. And now you're at a point, I think you said one time to me, Diane, when we were getting ready, you sent a couple of emails and had like 94 or some odd people sign up for MITS pages off of 2 emails. Well, that's
I did one or 2 emails, yeah, and signed up over 100 people without even trying, yeah.
Yeah, but you built that value over time by like Vince, what Terry talked about is creating content and giving the value, and all these things Vince talks about. So great stuff. I think we're getting close to the end. Vinny, I think I'll have you kind of speak on, our next, opportunities for people to get connected. I think we have something tonight, and then maybe touch on the week coming up. But Terry, let's hear that burning question.
Are you ready?
I was kind of questioning myself when I just said that.
Well, now, I mean, the truth is, this call has not gone the direction I wanted it to.
No, I think we should just do a webinar, Tara. We'll tell MITS.
We should.
A webinar. Let's do it.
We should, Diane. But like you guys, I mean, I don't even know where to start here. You guys you aren't getting a piece of Diane like I've seen. Okay. I mean, I'm going to ask her some couple questions here, but Diane, I'm not kidding you. I don't like people. Okay? I don't like people. And I was kind of thrust into, come over and meet Diane one time. And I met Diane, and pretty soon I realized she's very smart and witty. And then after about 8 hours of being sucked into her, mind manipulation techniques, I realized, oh my God, she's freaking brilliant. So you guys aren't even getting a taste of what she's really about. So I'm going to bring a little bit of that out. I'm going to segue just for a second because I think this is like a really valuable tip. You guys are going to laugh at this, but it was something I tested and it's worked really well. You talk about talking to people on the phone. Well, God, I was getting like 20, 25, 30 calls a day. I'm working 18 hours a day. And it's hustle. If you're making $50K a month, okay, do it. But the other day, was talking to Michelle Pescasolito, and she says, why are you still talking to people on the phone? She'd been trying to talk Bill out of talking on the phone. I said, and it really hit me hard. I felt kind of dumb for a little bit. I was just made me feel that way. So I said, well, instead of stopping talking to people on the phone, I'm going to say, would you like to talk to me for $49? So my calls instantly cut in half. But you think about the numbers there. If you do 5 calls a day, that's $5,000 a month. Okay? And what do you think they're paying me to do? My process didn't change at all, did I? $49 to talk to me. I will say, it's Dr. Terry, where is it hurt? Here's your prescription. So you guys ought to try that sometime. It's a good way to monetize. You're literally selling yourself in your time, so you're getting paid a little bit for that phone call. So it's like they're paying you $49 to sell them stuff. I know that all sounds kind of like salesman-y, but I think that's an interesting technique that you could do. And guess what? You talk about quality targeted leads. The people that pay $49, that's a pretty quality targeted person. So here's my question for Diane. So Diane never really says how she is doing all of this stuff. Maybe it's probably natural for her, but I think Diane does a lot of what she does because she understands you better than you understand yourself. Okay? I know that she pulled that out of me. I don't tell anybody anything about my life. I sat there for 8 hours with Diane one night and told her everything about me. Why? Because she asked, and she was interested. So if you reverse that around, if you reverse that around, am I right, Diane? I mean, I don't know if you naturally do that or that's a technique that you learned.
No, I'm sorry, I don't do technique. I don't do technique. But I think I knew something about you after talking to you for a little while that kind of surprised you that I knew that, because nobody knows that.
Right, right.
And that's what caused us to have that conversation, probably.
I mean, I've thought about that a lot because, you know, and then I watch what you're doing online and I'm like, okay, you know, very interesting, because I'm kind of a little bit of an in-your-face marketer, you know, and then I definitely pay attention to what you're doing, and it's interesting how I almost feel like when I read one of your posts that there's a unspoken word behind it, or are you just naturally that way? I mean, maybe I shouldn't be revealing your inner psyche here, but
no. I remember you guys all know who Dagan Smith is, or most of you guys do. I remember when I first met Dagan. Dagan sat with me and he goes, okay, he goes, you kind of freak me out because you're never selling anything, but you're always selling everything. And he said, and I can't figure out exactly what you do. He goes, but you're clearly at the top of all the leaderboards and winning all these prizes and all this other stuff, so you're clearly making sales all day long. What is it? And Terry, you know what? I don't know, I've hung around with so many masters over the years that I think I just assimilated their patterns, which are probably NLP based and other, you know, sciences like that. But I never studied them per se, but I think I was with so many of them that I acquired their speech patterns and their understanding of what made someone tick. I don't know where exactly I got it, but I can explain it. The only thing is, it's funny because a lot of people in internet marketing don't want to take the time to learn it or hear about it because they're convinced, you know, things like you were having that conversation with Michelle, like, why would you talk to people? Well, when you talk to people, if you talk to enough people, you learn this. And that's why you're so good at it, because you've talked to enough people. A lot of people in internet marketing want to skip it so they can bring in a lot of sales, but they can't sustain them. And then they have constant turnover. It's a constant, build a new audience, spend a lot of money on advertising process. So is there something behind it? There's no like maniacal ha 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 ha, but is there something behind it? I'm sure there is. I'm sure there is. And I've also read a lot, and I know you've read a lot, and I think that's why we hit it off so fast, is because I'm a student of attraction, and studying attraction on every level, not just in marketing, has given me an insight probably. So I don't know if that answers the question.
Yeah, I mean, it does. I mean, if I've always went back and kind of analyzed, because you've been like the only person I've ever really had a conversation with that just seems to get it all on a, and you know, so I try to kind of reverse engineer that. I think one of the a skill, a really awesome technique that I saw you do right in front of me, and you probably naturally do it, but I always, you know me, I overanalyze the hell out of all this stuff. I want to be better and better and better. One of the things you did was you were so passionately interested in what I had to say. You know,
well, because you're smart, honey. I'm not like that with everybody, just so you know. It was you.
Okay, so that was, but
edify me, but I would edify you back, because it's rare for me to meet someone that's quite as versed as you. So I'll listen to everybody, but not everybody, and I care about everybody. My customers are very important to me. They feed my kids. You know, my daughter's graduating from college. They paid her tuition. She's there now posing because she's getting ready to go back to school. You can come over here and be in the picture if you want. I know they're both like I'm leaving. You know, I understand what they do. Yes, there's my mini-me. There's one of them. Mini-me and Mini-me Junior. So there they are. And it is a family business, and we've been doing this since we were little. By the way, girls, stay away from him. I'm only kidding. Terry, it's people's motivation is what makes them buy. You know that, and I know that. Traffic is we write copy and ads that cause people to respond to something. We bring them to a page that causes them to respond to something. And then we bring them through a series of offers that cause them to respond. If we're struggling to get the response, it's generally because we're lacking understanding of the people. And you know, Vince Reed is one of those people that truly understands people. You're one of those people that truly understands people. Bye, baby, I love you. And it is that understanding of people that pays us. Now, somebody like me, I'm able to do it so well that I don't really need to do all the busy work that a lot of people do. Do I think the mechanisms and stuff are a mistake? No, but I think that doing what Terry has explained to you guys about talking to people doesn't have to be a way. Like, I don't take calls like Terry. If my phone rings 3 times a day, it's a lot. So like the idea of people calling and doing that and having 2 cell phones, and I hate Skype, and I only give special people my Skype. I hate it. I hate that interruption. But as far as constantly communicating with people and understanding what makes them tick and understanding what moves them, and what moves them, guys, is not leads. And that's why I always find it fascinating the way people advertise. What moves them, why is Terry standing in front of palm trees? You know, right now, every single one of us is more attracted to Terry than everybody else, automatically.
Hold on, watch this.
Liminal thing going on.
I can fix it for you by pushing this button.
Uh-huh.
So here it goes. Does that help?
Well, now he's much less attractive. Look at him. He was. I mean, that just having that little thing, all the psychology of people is everything. That's what marketing is, guys. If you understand the psychology, you can put it all into the frame of the tools and stuff. If you don't understand the psychology,
yeah.
I'll close with this, Terry. Human marketing changes constantly. Think about ads, and you know, since you and I have been around, I mean, it's changed, you know, like night and day. It's going to constantly change, and the techniques that we use are going to constantly change. But human nature hasn't changed since the beginning of time. So I've always spent more time studying human nature and then applying it into my marketing, as opposed to studying marketing and hoping that it might convert. If you understand people and how people convert, then you just lay it up into an automated system, and then boom, money starts flying. So.
And it would scare you as to why people buy and convert. Scared the hell out of me. Yeah. I mean, it's actually uncomfortable at first for me to put together a sales letter, a video sales letter and stuff on the reasons I know why they buy. Like, I have to literally twist my brain to get it out of me, because, you know, they buy, like I said earlier, for wide, broad-reaching things, and they buy lifestyle and opportunity on that stuff, you know. 2% by the toolbox, 98% by the opportunity and the lifestyle, blah, blah, blah. So if you're closing with that, maybe I should close with an interesting analogy. Although, are you done closing? I don't want to cut you off.
Absolutely. I'm on the edge of my seat waiting to hear from you.
So you know that I can't do any sort of marketing without doing a dating analogy. Everybody talks about relationship marketing. Well, guess what? Here we go. All right. It's the dating analogy. I walk up to a stranger and go, "Would you like to sleep with me?" That's what everybody's doing in their marketing. No, I wouldn't. And once in a while she'll say, "What's your name?" But it's never going to work. So it's always this 3-step process that I use. And I know when I started talking about this with Diane, we just riffed onto like 8 hours. But there's 3 little parts. So there's a little part over here. There's a big part in the middle, and then there's a little part over here. So it's attraction, comfort, seduction. Okay? The game is played in comfort. How do you get them comfortable with you? You recommend MITS to them, which is awesome, and now they're a buyer, and now you take them on to seduction, which is, I'm sorry, I should be over here, seduction, which should be the high-ticket stuff, go to level 3, buy other stuff from me. So, you know, quit trying to ask people to buy and instead take them through that dating process. So I could talk about that all day, but that's enough for me.
That's profound stuff. I hope we need to do another webinar on that, Terry, sometime.
We should.
we break that down into marketing, because we all dated, and at some point you've dated your whole life, but I haven't dated in a long time, but we all dated, and we all remembered the different stages. If we just applied it to our marketing, we'd make a lot of money.
Yeah, and that's what I do.
Awesome, guys. That was awesome, Terry, and thank you, Diane. You guys, I mean, I know that we went over a little bit, but it was totally worth it. And I just please, no worries at all. I love it, man. I mean, I think you guys shared a bunch of value with the MITS members and the people on this Hangout, and I just want to thank you guys for your time today. It really means a lot to the council, especially your council members for your time, and you guys too. I really appreciate it. So just real quick, tonight we do have our webinar. So if you're on this Hangout and you want more information, first I would just join our Facebook group. It's a private Facebook group. You can message all of us in there. We're in there active, and it's just facebook.com/groups/my-internet-traffic-system. Super easy. And then we have our webinar tonight. There'll be a link inside there too as well to get access to that Vince will be hosting, explaining the system. So I think that's it for me. I appreciate you guys for coming on once again. This was an awesome leadership council, and if anybody else has anything to say, I think we're good.
No, I definitely wanted to thank Diane so much, and Terry, you both for making some time. It's been great kind of setting this up, and of course you knocked it out the park as usual. And I'll be in touch with you after to get the links over to you so you can do your voodoo stuff with it and pass it on to your communities.
All right, cool.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks a ton. We'll talk to you later.
Bye, Diane. Love you.
Thanks, guys.
Bye, guys.